Staying with immigration, South Korean officials say there's a deal with the United States to release the South Korean workers detained in last week's raid on a Hyundai plant in Georgia. South Korea is set to charter a plane to take them home, escorted by the foreign minister who's traveling to the United States on Monday. Of the nearly 475 workers detained, more than 300 are South Koreans. South Korea says it's going to review its visa system for travel to the United States in hopes of preventing a repeat incident. Overnight in Ukraine, Russia launched a massive wave of drone and missile attacks targeting Kyiv. Russia sent more than 800 drones and decoys and 13 missiles into Ukraine. At least 4 people were killed, including a mother and her 3-month-old child. In Kyiv, the government's headquarters was damaged. It had been unscathed since the full-scale invasion began 3 years ago. War-weary Ukrainians say it's time for allies to step up.
We are waiting for all this to be over. World leaders gather together to come up with a solution, but in reality, nothing has changed. On the contrary, the situation is getting worse.
For its part, Russia said it used high-precision weapons to target military sites and denied hitting the government building. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba has resigned after less than a year in office. Ishiba was blamed for his party's historic defeat in this summer's legislature elections. Voters said the governing coalition didn't deliver on promises to address rising prices and stagnant wages. Ishiba said he had waited to resign until there was a trade deal with the United States. And there is now a millennial saint. Pope Leo canonized Italian Carlo Acutis today during a mass in St. Peter's Square. Acutis is known to many young Catholics by the nickname God's Influencer. The teen is credited with developing a multilingual website documenting miracles recognized by the Church. He died in 2006 at the age of 15 from a rare and aggressive form of leukemia. Some of the young people who filled the square called Acutis a modern-day role model.
I learned from different people what his professors, his teachers said about his joy and the light he carried around him. So for me, personally, as an Italian, even as social media is used so much, it is important to have him as an influencer.
Leo also canonized Pier Giorgio Frassati, who was born to a wealthy Italian family, but devoted his life to serving the poor. Still to come on PBS News Weekend, the worst violence in years sweeps across Indonesia, and a new book tells the story of a black family who helped build America.
This is PBS News Weekend from the David M. Rubenstein studio at WETA in Washington, home of the PBS NewsHour, weeknights on PBS.